From gathering enough evidence to pin him down while watching him brag about his involvement in the murder, the detectives in charge of Tupac's murder had to endure a lot at the mercy of Keefe D. Now that he's been arrested for his possible involvement in the murder, let's look at the level of punishment he might get. If you've been keeping tabs on Tupac's case, you must have heard the name Keefe D pop up multiple times. He's either sitting at an interview talking about his involvement in Tupac's murder, or recording a BET documentary about how he's the greatest gangster for killing one of hip-hop's best.
You said the shots came from the back. Big Dre, Orlando. Who shot Tupac?
The Keeper for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat, bro.
It's the code of the street to not reveal who's behind the crime, according to Keefe D. But he went against his own rule. Keefe D likely believed he was immune to the law because he talked so much about his role in Tupac's death and kept walking as a free man. But life would eventually catch up with them. On July 17, 2023, Keefe D was served a search warrant for his house in Las Vegas. After the raid, police recovered bullets, some hard drives, and laptops. All this evidence would eventually play a vital role in pinning the supposed gang master down. He was arrested on September 29, 2023, as he was taking a walk.
We're going to put it down. I know, hang on. Put that down for a second, all right? You got nothing on you, right? Hooks. You have anything on you, sir? No. Okay, yeah, we'll get you a drink. Hang on, all right? Just want to make sure you got no weapons on you or anything, okay?
Keefe has been running wild for the longest of time, and getting him off the street was a win for the cops and the Shakur family. But the most important part is his sentencing. Keefe D made his first appearance in court on October 4th, 2023, for his role in the murder of Tupac Shakur. His entrance was met with silence as he limped towards the stand. Keefe D had caused so many people pain, especially Tupac's family, and was now ready to get locked away. However, his lawyer wasn't with him in court, and there was no way the case could move forward without any legal representative present. A lot of people wouldn't mind Keefe D getting punished with or without the representation of a lawyer, but it wasn't so easy to do. If Keefe D is punished without the presence of his lawyer, the state could lose him, and he would slip through their fingers again. So the case was adjourned till a further time. But despite the postponement of the case, the lawyer representing Tupac was able to talk about his plans for the case.
We will continue to ask for a no bail setting because we believe under Nevada law and the evidence in this case that the proof is evident and the presumption is great that he will be convicted of first-degree murder, and that allows us to ask for a no bail setting.
Steve Wolfson, Tupac's lawyer, plans on getting a no bail sentence for Keefe D. The suspect is currently 60 years old and doesn't have a lot of time left in him. That aside, his lawyer can work towards him getting out on claims of poor health issues or something along that line. If that happens, the Shakur family will be heartbroken all over again, seeing Tupac's killer walk around scot-free and likely going around to talk about his involvement in the case. So when Steve Wolfson announced that he was working towards a no bail situation for Keefe D, nobody objected. The only problem is how he would achieve this. Keefe D has worked to get himself one of the best and top lawyers in the game, Ross Goodman. Ross Goodman comes from a family of lawyers and politicians. His father, Oscar Goodman, served as the mayor of Nevada for 12 years. And after his term limits prevented him from running again, his mother, Carolyn Goodman, took over. Ross Goodman started his law firm, Goodman Law Group, in 2001, and has represented some really gruesome cases. You would wonder how he won. One time, he represented a woman named Gloria Guzman in 2006, who was accused of murdering her quadriplegic husband by drowning him. She got out of the case after spending only 1 year in prison and remaining on probation. He also represented a member of Hell's Angels after the infamous Lawland River Run riot and got his client out of a murder and racketeering charge. The Lawland River Run riot took many lives, but Goodman was so good that he got his client out unpunished. So, How's all of these relevant? If somebody that's so skilled at getting the most heinous criminals out of bad cases represents Keefe D, the gangster can come out free. It would no longer matter that he has confessed to the crime multiple times, or there's a lot of evidence against him. Everything would just vanish with a good argument. On the 19th of September, 2023, 2 weeks after Keefe D's first court appearance, he appeared in court again. This time, he was accompanied by Ross Goodman, who has been in talks with him concerning the case. Eddie File, Keefe D's personal lawyer, made the recommendation, but the deal wasn't finalized yet. So on the 19th of September, Ross Goodman asked for the case to be pushed further while he finalized the legal representation of Keefe D. At the moment, the case has been postponed by 2 weeks, and people are hoping justice is served.
Welcome back to Law and Crime. I'm Michelle Yu. If you're just joining us, the arraignment for Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was delayed once again for the 1996 death of rapper Tupac Shakur.
With the 2 weeks that Ross Goodman has taken to finalize talks to represent Keefe D, he would also have enough time to come up with a good argument for the suspect. In coming times, we should expect to see a lot of changed statements and oaths of good conduct, as Ross Goodman would have to work overtime to clear Keefe D's name with all its public confessions. It will be a lot of hard work to get him out of this pickle, and if he ever gets out, he had better lay low. Although Keefe D's case has been pushed back by 2 weeks, people have still had a lot to say. Let's start from Gabriel Gro, O.J. Simpson's lawyer. When Gabriel Gro was asked about his opinion on the postponement of the case, he didn't hesitate in praising the good works of Ross Goodman.
He's apparently made an agreement with him to a retainer agreement, but there's still some things to work out, and that's where we're at with this. You know, it's an interesting case, and I spoke with Ross. I've known Ross for 15, 20 years, and he's a capable attorney.
For one of O.J. Simpson's lawyers to hype up Ross Goodman, it's a sign that Keefe D may have a good chance with this case. Gabriel Gro said he had been a co-counselor with Ross Goodman before, and he's sure the attorney can handle the case. So once Keefe D finalizes on the argument with Goodman, his case will be ready for trial. Now, to the most important part of what Gabriel Gro really thinks of the case.
I guess ugly underbelly of how these cases get started with not much going on.
Gabriel Gro believes that with cases like Keefe D's, there's usually not much going on at the start, as everybody is still trying to settle in. Well, that shouldn't come as a shocker considering the fact that the police knew Keefe D was involved in the case for years, but didn't or couldn't do much about it. After he has run wild talking about how dangerous he is, they finally arrested him and set a court date within 1 month of the arrest. His last court date was 3 weeks after his arrest. And honestly, the prosecutors would have a hard time navigating a high-profile case moving so swiftly. Maybe they're trying to wrap up the Tupac Shakur case as quickly as they can, since they've spent over 2 decades on it. However, it won't be so easy, because it's been about 27 years of evidence slipping from their hands, and it won't get solved in 1 month. Getting to the issue of everything Keefe D has said about the involvement in Tupac's murder, Gabriel Gro claimed that it wouldn't be a problem when it's time to defend the case in court.
As well as they can use what you say, they can make what's called derivative use, which means the feds can take what you said, or any investigative body, and they can investigate further based on what you say and come up with more evidence. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue in this case, the proffer agreement.
If Keefe D has signed the proffer agreement, and everything he has said about Tupac's murder couldn't be used against him. During the investigation of Tupac's death, Keefe D revealed to cops that he was in a car that shot Tupac, and they moved based on instructions. Ever since then, he's been yapping about his involvement in Tupac's case without anyone arresting him. Well, that will explain a lot as to why he's been able to go scot-free ever since he granted his first interview about Tupac's case. If you're confused on what a proffer agreement is, let us break it down for you. A proffer agreement is a contract you sign with prosecutors or law enforcement officers that hinders them from using whatever you say about a criminal case against you. With a proffer agreement in place, Keefe D's lawyer can argue really hard about why the bullets found in his client's house have nothing to do with the case from 1997. As I mentioned earlier, we would expect a lot of backtracking on statements because Keefe D would have to change every single thing he said about Tupac's case. Keefe D already has a great lawyer to assist him in escaping his case, but it doesn't mean everything is over. After Tupac's death, everybody was convinced that Orlando Anderson pulled the trigger, and with Keefe D's statements years later, people were certain. But Orlando died 2 years after the incident in the shootout, unable to defend himself or reveal the truth. Keefe D has been parading him as the killer. So even if Keefe were to defend himself in court by saying he didn't directly pull the trigger, there are no witnesses to confirm that. In the absence of a witness, it would be his word against the evidence piled against him. There are only a few ways out for him. The first one is for him to hope Tupac Shakur's family gives up on the case.
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet for a number of reasons. The time, of course, 27 years. And it didn't have to be this way.
But that's a long, if not an impossible shot. They've waited for 27 years to get justice for their brother and would definitely not let this slide. Another option is for Keefe D to come clean about the incident, and if he can get a reduced sentence for cooperating. But that would mean he would have to snitch on other people involved. It's one thing to snitch on yourself and another to snitch on someone else. Keefe D still has family out there with his wife and kids working to make ends meet. Except he wants a tell on his family. He wouldn't want to risk anything. His last and best bet is to completely rely on his lawyer to handle this case and help him come out victorious. Well, maybe victorious is a strong word to use, but that's likely what he'd feel after everything is over. But it just may be over for Keefe D, because not only is this case high profile, it also has a lot of social sentiment. If he's let out without any punishment, the state of Nevada will receive serious backlash from the Shakur family and fans of Tupac. Tupac may have died a long time ago, but his fans and admirers are still alive. Ross Goodman may be able to help Keefe D, but how long can their fight last? Could this be the end of the road for Keefe D? Or is there hope for a free future ahead of him? Is Keefe D finally going to be taken off the streets for good? Or is everything happening in the hopes of getting the case to shut down after 27 years? Stay tuned to find out more as this case unfolds and new information comes to the light. Peace.